Hello everyone, and welcome back to USA Coin, your go-to source for everything about US coins. If you're passionate about coins, whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting out, you're in the right place. In today's video, we're diving deep into 3 fascinating dimes from US history, market value, and any errors that might make them worth more than their face value. So let's get started. First up, we have the 1977 D1 dime coin. This coin, minted in Denver, is part of the long-running Roosevelt Dime series, which was first introduced in 1946 to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt following his death. The design of the Roosevelt Dime has remained largely unchanged over the decades, making it a staple of US currency. By 1977, the United States was navigating a period of economic turmoil. The country was recovering from the inflationary crisis of the 1970s, and this period saw changes in how coins were produced. The 1977 D-dime came after several years of coin shortages and significant changes in coinage materials. It was during this time that the US Mint switched from using 90% silver in dimes to a copper-nickel composition, which would continue for years to come. The 1977 D-dime features a left-facing portrait of Franklin D. Roosevelt, designed by artist John R. Sinnock. On the reverse, the coin showcases a torch, olive branch, and oak branch, symbolizing liberty, peace, and strength. These designs remain iconic and are part of what makes the Roosevelt Dime series so recognizable. One of the unique aspects of the 1977 D-dime is its mint mark D, which signifies that it was minted in Denver. The minting process at the time included the use of smaller, more efficient machinery, which made it easier for the mint to produce coins at a faster rate. The 1977 D-dime is made of a copper-nickel-clad composition with a diameter of 17.91 meters and a weight of 2.27 grams. The 1977 D-dime had a mintage of 504648000 coins, making it relatively common. In terms of market value, most 1977 D-dimes are worth only their face value of 10 cents. However, coins in uncirculated or high-grade condition can fetch a slightly higher price, particularly if they show minimal wear or have been well preserved. Generally, you can expect to pay anywhere from 25 to 50 cents for a 1977 D-dime in excellent condition. While the 1977 D-dime is not particularly known for rare errors, there are some examples of coins with slight die cracks or other minor imperfections that might appeal to collectors. These errors, while not highly valuable on their own, can increase the coin's appeal among enthusiasts who specialize in error coins. However, the overall collector interest in the 1977 D-dime is fairly low given its relatively high mintage and lack of significant variations. Next, we have the 2002 D1 dime coin. The 2002 D-dime is also part of the Roosevelt Dime series and represents the continued tradition of this iconic coin. By 2002, the US economy was entering a new phase of growth, having recovered from the 2001 recession. This coin was minted during a period of economic expansion, and it reflects the state of the nation during the early 21st century. The 2002 D-dime was struck in Denver, like its predecessor, and, like most modern dimes, it was produced primarily for circulation. In the early 2000s, the US Mint was facing the challenges of an increasing demand for coins to meet the needs of a growing population. As a result, mintage numbers for coins like the 2002 D-dime were substantial. At this point in history, the Roosevelt Dime was well established, and the public had become very familiar with the design. The 2002 D-dime, like other Roosevelt dimes, features Franklin D. Roosevelt's portrait on the obverse, while the reverse shows the torch, olive branch, and oak branch. The D mint mark on the reverse signifies that it was struck in Denver. One interesting feature of the 2002 D-dime is its relatively high level of detail. Because of the technological advancements in the minting process, coins from this era tend to have sharper designs and more defined features compared to older coins. Additionally, the 2002 D-dime maintains the same size and weight as earlier dimes, a diameter of 17.91 minutes and a weight of 2.27 grams. The mintage of the 2002 D-dime was a staggering 11815200000 coins, making it one of the more commonly found dimes in circulation. As a result, the 2002 D-dime is not highly valuable in most cases. Most 2002 D-dimes in circulated condition are worth only 10 cents. However, coins that are in uncirculated condition or have been graded as mint state can command a premium of $1 or more, especially if they are in perfect condition. While the 2002 D dime doesn't have any major error varieties, there are some minor die errors that have been found, such as off-center strikes, die cracks, and double strikes. These errors, though, are not exceedingly rare, so they don't tend to drive up the coin's value significantly. However, collectors of error coins may find these variations interesting. Next up, let's take a look at the 1981 P1 dime coin, minted in Philadelphia. The 1981 P1 is another representative of the Roosevelt Dime series, but it has its own unique aspects to consider. The 1980s marked a period of transition for the US economy, and the country was in the midst of recovering from the high inflation and economic stagnation of the late 1970s. The early 1980s were a time of austerity and tight fiscal policy, but the US Mint was still hard at work producing coins for circulation. In 1981, the Mint continued its tradition of producing dimes with the Roosevelt design. Just like the 1977 D and 2002 D dimes, the 1981 P dime features Franklin D. Roosevelt's portrait on the obverse, with the reverse showing the symbolic torch, olive branch, and oak branch. The mint mark P on the reverse indicates that this coin was struck in Philadelphia, and this was the first year that the P mint mark began to appear on dimes after it had been used on other denominations in the years prior. The 1981 P dime, like other dimes minted from 1965 onward, is made of a copper-nickel clad composition, giving it a unique shine and appearance. It has the same weight and size as other dimes, 2.27 grams and 17.91 meters in diameter. The 1981 P dime had a mintage of 1, 0, 7, 3, 5, 8, 4, 0, 0, 0 coins, which, like the other dimes we've discussed, makes it fairly common. Most 1981 P dimes are worth just their face value of 10 cents. However, like the 2002 D dime, high-grade examples in mint state can be worth more. Coins that are graded M67 or higher can fetch $1 to $5, depending on the exact condition. The 1981 P dime, like other coins of its era, has been found with some minor errors. Common issues include off-center strikes and weak strikes, where the design appears incomplete or blurry. Some collectors are particularly interested in finding well-preserved examples of these minor errors, as they add a bit of uniqueness to a collection. However, these errors don't typically drive the value up in a significant way, unless they are particularly pronounced. To wrap things up, each of these dimes, the 1977 D, 2002 D, and 1981 D, offers a unique window into the history and evolution of US coinage. While they might not be worth a fortune in most cases, their historical significance, design elements, and collector appeal make them great additions to any collection. If you're a coin enthusiast or just starting out, don't forget to keep an eye out for these dimes in your pocket change or at coin shops, as they may be worth more than you think, especially in high grade or error condition. Next up, let's talk about the 2002 D1 dime coin in poor condition. The 2002 D dime is part of the Roosevelt Dime series, a coin that has been circulating in the US since 1946. The Roosevelt Dime was introduced to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt following his death, and it has remained relatively unchanged ever since, with only minor modifications to accommodate minting needs. However, when you find a 2002 D dime in bad condition, it can tell a different story about how it was used and the potential value it could hold for collectors interested in coins with wear and damage. The year 2002 was a time of significant economic growth in the United States, following the recession of the early 2000s. The economy was starting to rebound, and the demand for currency increased across the country. At this time, the Roosevelt dime was still one of the most widely used coins in circulation. In terms of coin production, the US Mint was dealing with high demand for small denomination coins, as inflation and economic conditions made it necessary to produce more coins. In 2002, the US Mint continued its practice of using a copper-nickel-clad composition for dimes, a departure from the earlier silver dimes that were used until 1964. The 2002 D dime was struck in Denver and is part of a series of coins that were minted during a transitional time in US history, following the dot-com bubble and the events of September 11, 2001, which had a lasting impact on the country. Like all Roosevelt dimes, the 2002 D dime features a portrait of Franklin D. Roosevelt on the obverse, designed by John R. Sinek. Roosevelt, who served as president from 1933 to 1945, is depicted facing left in this highly recognizable design. Sinek's design has remained relatively unchanged since it was first introduced in 1946. The reverse of the 2002 D dime displays a torch, olive branch, and oak branch, which symbolize liberty, peace, and strength, respectively. These elements are also part of the original design by Cynic and continue to be a feature of the coin to this day. The mint mark D on the reverse indicates that this particular coin was minted at the Denver Mint. The 2002 D dime, like all Roosevelt dimes, is made of a copper-nickel-clad composition. It has a weight of 2.27 grams, a diameter of 17.91 millimeters, and a thickness of 1.35 millimeters. The coin's design, despite being over 75 years old, still holds great significance and remains a widely circulated and recognized part of the U.S. coinage system. In 2002, the U.S. Mint produced a massive number of dimes, and the mintage of the 2002 D1 dime was an impressive 1,8,1,5,2,0,000 coins. This high mintage makes the 2002 D dime a relatively common coin, especially in circulated condition. A dime in poor or worn condition typically holds little more than its face value of 10 cents. The heavy circulation of this coin, combined with the high production numbers, means that even in low-quality condition, the value of the coin doesn't increase substantially. However, it's important to note that the value of a 2002 D dime in poor condition can still vary depending on its exact level of wear. For example, a coin that is heavily worn and shows signs of damage from use, such as scratches, dents, or discoloration, may be valued only slightly more than face value for coins in very worn condition. The real value for collectors of the 2002 D dime in poor condition would come from factors such as rarity in specific subsettlements or its status as a low-grade example that completes a specific collection. While a coin in bad condition won't bring in significant profits, for those looking for inexpensive ways to fill in gaps in their collections, this coin still serves a purpose. Although the 2002 D dime is generally not known for any major errors, there are still some types of minor errors that collectors keep an eye out for. These can include things like die cracks, double strikes, or off-center strikes. While errors on coins in poor condition are typically less valuable than those found on coins in better condition, they still hold some collector appeal. In addition to errors, coins in poor condition often have a distinct historical appeal for collectors who enjoy studying the wear and tear of circulating currency. Coins that have been in heavy use, been through many hands, or have seen significant physical damage often tell a unique story. This story is appealing to certain collectors who find beauty in coins that have lived through various eras and events. Even though the 2002 D dime in poor condition doesn't have a major market value, it can still serve as a tangible connection to a specific moment in US history. Next up, let's shift our focus to the 1996 P1 dime coin, which is another interesting piece of US coinage. The 1996 P1 dime was minted in Philadelphia, and its history and design features make it an important coin for collectors. The 1990s were a transformative decade for the United States. The country was experiencing a period of relative peace and prosperity after the end of the Cold War and the Gulf War. The economy was booming, and the tech industry was emerging as a dominant force in the global economy. This period of growth and stability also influenced the design and production of US coins, and the 1996 P dime reflects this era of change. The 1996 P dime was produced as part of the ongoing Roosevelt Dime series, which had been in circulation for over 50 years by this point. As with other dimes of this period, it was struck in the same copper-nickel-clad composition, and the design remained virtually unchanged from its original introduction in 1946. The 1996 P dime features the same design elements as other Roosevelt dimes. On the obverse, Franklin D. Roosevelt is depicted in a left-facing portrait, designed by John R. Cynic. The reverse showcases the torch, olive branch, and oak branch, which symbolize liberty, peace, and strength. The mint mark P indicates that this coin was struck at the Philadelphia mint mark was used on a dime in over 30 years. The design is simple yet powerful, representing not only Roosevelt's legacy but also the ideals of the United States. The dimensions of the 1996 P dime are the same as all Roosevelt dimes, with a weight of 2.27 grams, a diameter of 17.91 millimeters, and a thickness of 1.35 millimeters. The 1996 P dime continues to be a key piece in understanding the broader history of US coinage. In 1996, the US Mint produced 1,058,520,000 dimes. This high mintage makes the 1996 P dime a common coin in circulation, and most examples of this coin are worth only their face value of 10 cents. However, like other Roosevelt dimes, higher-grade examples in uncirculated condition can be worth more. Coins that are graded MS65 or higher can fetch anywhere from $1 to $5, depending on their condition and market demand. The value of a 1996p dime in poor condition is typically limited to face value or a slight premium above that, depending on the level of wear and any unique characteristics the coin might have. In terms of overall market value, the 1996p dime is not considered particularly rare, and its appeal is mainly to complete their Roosevelt Dime sets. Although the 1996p dime is not known for major error varieties, collectors of error coins may still seek out minor imperfections, such as die cracks, off-center strikes, or double strikes. These types of errors are typically found on coins in better condition, but even a worn 1996p dime with a minor error could pique the interest of a collector looking for a unique piece. For most collectors, the 1996p dime has a fairly modest value, but it still holds importance in terms of its place in US coinage. The coin reflects the style, production methods, and social context of the late 20th century. For collectors, even a coin in poor condition can hold a certain level of fascination due to its history and the role it played in the US economy. To conclude, both the 2002 dime in bad condition and the 1996 dime have their place in the history of US coinage. While neither coin is likely to fetch a significant amount in poor condition, they both hold value for collectors who appreciate the story they tell about American currency. Whether it's the heavy circulation of the 2002 dime or the lasting legacy of the 1996 dime, each coin offers a glimpse into the history of the United States and its people. Thanks for watching today's video on USA Coin. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more coin discussions and in-depth looks at the US